Hello YouTube and welcome to Synthetic Oil Info. My name is Tom Brown, and in this video I want to talk about a problem that's been around for a while, but I just noticed it here in Georgia where I live, and I live in the Atlanta metro area, and it involves the sale of a very outdated motor oil. It is API spec SA. And here's a bottle of the oil that I picked up at the local Quick Mart here. It's Flash Foods. And I'm not really picking on Flash Foods as much as I am the whole market in terms of selling this oil. Flash Foods is just one of the companies that's doing this, and I've talked to their corporate management about this. I don't know what'll happen, but as you see on the front of the bottle, it says it's a premium SAE 30 non-detergent motor oil. We've got a picture of a nice new car on there. We got the word premium on there. But if you turn it over on the back, it gets really, really scary. I don't know if you can read this if you get it up close here. But it basically says that this oil is API Service SA. You can get it to focus there. And contains no additives. It is not suitable for use in any gasoline-powered automotive engine built after 1930. Use in modern engines may result in unsatisfactory engine performance or equipment harm. So, if the company knows that they are selling a product that could cause damage to your engine, why are they selling it? Well, frankly, because it's cheap. This product sold on the shelf at the local Flash Foods by my house for about $3.30 plus tax. Which is, quite a bit less than the average cost of conventional and definitely less than the cost of any synthetic or synthetic blend motor oils that you'll find out there. And so I did a little more research to find out, okay, because I'd seen this on some other websites and some other oil industry reports and things that this is a problem and other states are really cracking down on this. So what's going on? Well, as it turns out, this is really a byproduct from our improvement in oil consumption and our extended drain interval adoption here in this country in the last probably 10 to 20 years. When all of our gasoline, all of our diesel fuel, and all of our motor oil comes from a barrel of crude oil. Now, a lot of different things happen with a barrel of crude oil when it goes through the refining process, but you have to start with that crude oil barrel. So, and there's only so much of each type of oil molecule in that barrel that's available. And so if your gasoline and diesel fuel demands remain the same, which here in the United States, our fuel use has pretty well topped out. We're either flatline or slightly decreasing in our fuel use. That jumps around a little bit from year to year, but in general, we've kind of flatlined. Other countries around the world are rapidly ramping up their fuel use, so there's a big demand for refined products around the world. But here in the U.S., not so much. We're pretty well tapped out in terms of fuel use. But what has happened in definitely the last 10 years, is that our automotive industry has adopted longer oil change intervals. We went from 3,000 miles up to around 5,000 miles to where now most of our new cars probably have an average oil change interval of somewhere around 7,500 miles. Now, I know a lot of people don't follow that. A lot of people are still changing oil at, less than that. But in general, 7,500 miles is probably a pretty good average of where at least the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, are calling for oil to be changed. Sometimes that's a flat 7,500, sometimes it's through a light, or an oil change light on your car, but in general about 7,500. So what that has done is it has reduced the sheer volume of lubricating oil, engine oil, that we consume in this country. The other thing that's happened is that we have tightened up the efficiency and the specs on our engines, and so they use less oil. So in addition to pushing out the oil change interval, they use less oil, so we as a country consume less lubricating or less motor oil than we did 10, 20 years ago. but we're still consuming about the same amount of gasoline and diesel fuel. So what happens is the oil industry has a lot of base lubricating oil that would have gone into motor oil left over, and they can't do anything else with it. Used to be, prior to the 1980s, they could pour the oil, this oil that I'm talking about, the base oil, back into the ground from the empty holes that they had drained crude oil out of. But the EPA stopped them from doing that because they weren't pouring back in, the same product that they took out, and they were concerned about environmental issues. So now the oil companies have to do something with this oil. They either have to burn it off, which creates air pollution problems, or they have to sell it off as waste oil, which they really don't want to do. So what they're doing is they're making it available very, very cheaply to these oil blenders. And you won't find any of your name brand companies doing this. Pennzoil, Quaker State, Castrol, Valvoline, none of the big guys are doing this. What you're finding is it's these small kind of pop-up overnight type things, companies where they'll start producing this cheaply bottled API SA oil. And in many states, they're outlining it. And so then those companies will go bankrupt. They'll go out of business, whatever, but they'll pop up somewhere else. So my warning to everyone is, as the API, the American Petroleum Institute website, now has a new program, and so I'll use their name, giving them credit here. Motor oil matters. The oil that you put into your car does matter greatly in terms of how long your engine will last and how it will perform. So outside of our house, the biggest investment most people make is their car, and the biggest expense in that car to repair is the engine, followed quickly by the transmission. So if you want your engine and transmission to last a long time, don't put stuff like this in your engine. API SA oil was never designed to go into anything newer than 1930s automobiles. And it really isn't even good for those. If you have a 1930 engine, don't put SA oil in there either, because this has no additives. It has no protection other than what's offered by the base oil, which is very little. Most of the lubrication and protection that comes in a bottle of new API SN oil, for example, the latest spec, most of that work is done by the additive package. The base oil is the carrier for that package. So again, this oil has none of that additive package in there. So don't use it. Don't buy it. And so that's the only way we can get this stuff off the shelves, short of getting it outlawed here in Georgia. That's what we're going to try working on. Like other states, North Carolina and some others have done this. We'll see what we can do here. I've contacted the Petroleum Quality Institute of America, and they're aware of this, and they're going to start doing some sampling and doing some investigation. But the best thing you can do to protect yourself as a consumer and the car owner is make sure you know what kind of oil your car calls for and put the best oil in there. So that's it for today, and thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day out there, and contact us if you have any questions about oil, synthetic oils. We sell AMSOIL, so if you have questions about what we can do to help your car last longer, please contact us. We'll have links here on this page, and there'll be links down below where you can get to our website or to the AMSOIL website. We appreciate any business that you could bring our way. And again, have a great day, and thanks for stopping by.